Welcome, come on in. Hello to the folks online. We'll get started here in just like a minute or so. Brian, Linda, hi Jean. Good to see you again as always. Hi Robin. All right, I think we have a quorum. Let's get started. Welcome everybody to the Wednesday night loving kindness meditation. My name is Alex. It is wonderful to be here with you this evening. I like that it's still light outside while we're doing this class. It puts me in a good mood. Oh gosh, I come down from North County to lead this class, and it's different every time. Sometimes it's smooth sailing, and sometimes it's just a ton of traffic. So I have to leave, like at 6 to get here at 7. And so I left at 6, and I got here at 6:57. Like a couple of years ago, like I'd be sweating it, or like a year ago I might be sweating it, but now it's like, well, they'll still be there at 7:01. It's okay. It's a good opportunity for practice. All right. So, is there anybody here that's new to the Dharma Bum Temple or new to Wednesday? Oh, welcome. Nice. Welcome. How did you hear about us?
Well, I've come to the temple before the pandemic.
Okay.
And I'm just kind of circling back around.
All right.
I think they used to do on Wednesday night. Used to be a Zen class.
Yeah. So now it's Monday.
Yeah, so it switched up a little bit. So I decided to check out this one.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. All right, so let's do this. So we're going to do a meditation on loving kindness, and then I'll probably read the Metta Sutta afterwards instead of before, and we'll just switch it up a little bit. Yeah, so you're all pretty much veterans of the temple. We could just get started. Oops. All right. Any questions before we start? All right, let's go do this. Just allow your eyes to close. Making sure you have that comfortable seat. Nice stable seat that's nice and secure so you're not likely to move around too much. And when we sit like a Buddha. And you can even imagine yourself as a Buddha sitting underneath your own tree of enlightenment, because each Buddha has their own tree of enlightenment. This particular Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, or Buddha Shakyamuni, he chose what we know as the Bodhi tree, the banyan tree. but you can choose whatever tree you want. Ready for the day's abiding. So this is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. So let's just first get connected to the breath. So let's just take a deep breath all the way in and all the way out. Not forcing the breath, letting the breath be quite easy and quite natural at first. You always want to pay attention to the breath. So you can pay attention to the breath at the base of the nostrils, feeling the air go in and out as you breathe. Or maybe focusing on the belly or the chest, feeling its expansion and contraction as you breathe. You always want to have about 25% of your attention on the breath, even during the loving kindness meditation, as it helps us keep centered and grounded and aware of what's going on in this moment, in the present. Just feeling the breath go all the way in and all the way out. So just for the next few moments, just rest as gently as you can in the sensations of the breath. So now to begin our formal practice of loving kindness meditation, let's first think of a benefactor. Again, a benefactor is anyone who has shown us great love or great kindness, someone it's really easy to kind of have these feelings for and do this meditation for because of your love and care for them. And so to do this, you can either just radiate loving kindness to them, wishing them happiness, wishing they do the things that cause happiness, which is their positive and well-intentioned thoughts, words, and actions. Smiling as you do so, hopefully. Or you can just repeat phrases of loving kindness for them, like, may you be happy, May you be safe for inner and outer danger. May you be well in body and mind. May you be at peace and live at ease in this world. So you can choose one or more of those phrases or a phrase of your own device, so long as it has a loving and kind intention behind it. And so we'll do this for the next few moments, loving kindness, unconditional friendliness, and goodwill for our benefactor. So shifting our focus a little bit from loving kindness for ourselves, or loving kindness for a benefactor, I should say, to now just imagining our benefactor doing this practice for us. So it could be the same benefactor, it could be a different one, but they're a benefactor for a reason, right? You already have the experience of their love and kindness for you. So all you really have to do is just call it to mind and let it into your heart again, or let it activate your heart again. And just imagining your benefactor looking at you and radiating loving kindness to you. And you just have to receive all of it. Imagine them radiating or saying the phrases of loving kindness for you and just receiving all of it. All of their love and kindness that you've already received. Receive it again. Call it to mind again. Activate it again into your own heart. So we'll do this for the next few moments, imagining our benefactor or benefactors doing this practice for us. And now, probably the most important part of this meditation is being able to do this practice for ourselves, loving kindness for ourselves. Because if we could have loving kindness for ourselves, loving kindness for others would happen automatically. If we can have that feeling for ourselves, if we could know that feeling, have it be real and tangible in our own hearts, we would never hurt another person, ever. We would never want that. Because we would have that experiential understanding of love. And this is an experiential practice. And so we gently just recall to mind our own wish to be happy, our own wish to be free from suffering and free from danger and healthy and at peace and at ease. And you can do this practice either by just kind of radiating loving kindness back onto yourself, feeling your heart get bigger and warmer. Or you can just repeat phrases of loving kindness for yourself. May I be happy. May I be safe from inner and outer danger. May I be well in body and mind. May I be at peace and live at ease in this world. Maybe saying these phrases just gently to your heart, feeling for any tightness or tension, and breathing into it if you feel it. It's all right. Just be slow, be deliberate, be gentle. And we'll do this for the next few moments. And finally, we can explore the limitless potential of the heart to include in our practice of loving kindness all beings in all directions. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. So you can do this, just all beings in all directions, or you can just do this for a large group of people. Maybe you want to start small and just work your way up. You can do that too. Just knowing that the heart has this capability to include everybody. But it's okay to start small. So we'll do this for the next few moments to end our meditation. Just open your eyes when you're ready. Let's take the next moment or two out in silence as you stretch your arms and you stretch your legs. So keeping that mindfulness of loving kindness about you. One of the many reasons I like Buddhism is just its simplicity and the way that it's explained to me by um, people a lot smarter than me, a lot wiser than me. Um, it's a way that I can understand easily without a whole lot of judgment or anything like that. They just lay it out for you, and it's easy um, to do. It's not always easy, but like to keep your mind on the present's not always easy. But we have practices for that. And one of the things that I really like is, and I'm just paraphrasing here. This is from Ajahn Chah. And, Ajahn Chah was a meditation master from Thailand. He died in, I think, 1982 or 1992. I can't remember, one of the two. And he said, when you're, open your eyes or come out of meditation, don't think that you're coming out of meditation, only that you're changing postures. And if you reflect in this way, you will have peace. In Buddhism, there's these 4 postures of meditation: standing, seated, walking, or lying down. And if you think about it during the day, we're doing one of these 4 things all the time. And so whatever you're doing, you're just changing your posture, and that you can have peace. You can meditate in any one of these postures. When you're walking to the bathroom, when you're, in the bathroom, when you're, playing, whatever, or you're at work or whatever you're doing, you can always stop and maintain that um, mindset of meditation, of mindfulness, and that you can know peace in any one of these positions. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Jeff, all the time, if you ever see his posts on like Facebook or whatever, he said, just stop what you're doing and then take 3 deep breaths. And that's just that simple advice is just so helpful, for all of us. It's very simple, very easy to understand. I'm not asked to do something impossible, um, and that's kind of what I really like about this practice. We tend to like complicate things a lot, because that's how I think it's just kind of how we're raised in general. Like when I first got into Buddhism, my initial education was in the Theravada tradition primarily, and there was some Mahayana, and it was just in the Theravada tradition. It's kind of plain. It's plain and easy and not a lot of fluff, and that's something that I really resonated with based on what I was going through at the time. But my mind tried to complicate it. My mind try to um, look at all these different types of concepts and 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 practices in Buddhism, and wrap my head around them. And then when I did that, I found myself thinking that, well, this Theravada thing, just because I particularly resonated with it, was the best one. This is the best one, and the rest of you suck. I don't make that doesn't make any sense to me, so it's not good. And so I concretized and I solidified and I caused a lot of suffering for myself because I did that. But I think that's our normal habit. And so I realized that I said, I need to break myself of this habit, because I didn't like this habit. It didn't make me, when I realized that, it just didn't make me feel very good. And so I started looking into, I read this book about, from these two very esteemed scholars about the different um, the different Buddhist schools and sects and how they started and why they started. And I read this and I got this just like holistic view of Buddhism, and like, oh, okay, they do this because of this. Oh yeah, in this culture, Buddhism developed this way because of this, and this culture was because of this. And two, the Buddha expected that it would be this way because he knew he was very, very smart. And so that just gave me a whole lot of peace. So I can go to a Zen temple, I can go to a Tibetan temple, I can go to Thich Nhat Hanh's place, I can go to a Pure Land temple and feel completely at home. I may not understand everything, but I don't feel like like a foreigner, or I don't feel like I don't belong, I should say. And that in itself just brings a great deal of peace. And I really like that a lot, which is why I kind of like this meditation on loving kindness. Um, um, and then that's kind of another thing as well. One time I was asked by somebody here online, one of the online folks, and I forget the question. It was a good question, don't get me wrong, but like, what type of meditation is loving kindness? Is it a this kind of meditation, or a that kind of meditation, or this other kind of meditation? I didn't really know how to answer him exactly. And then I remembered, like after, because a lot of times I answer a question and then I'm like driving home and I'm like, oh no, I really should have said this, because something, kind of came to mind. Um, but in the Theravada tradition, they don't really, because there are lots of different kinds of meditation in Buddhism. There's loving kindness. There's the four different heart practices. There's mindfulness. There's the aggregates and the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path and the factors of enlightenment and all these different types of things, right? And they're basically like, yeah, they're all the same thing. It's okay. You don't have to overcomplicate it. They're all designed to do the same thing, whether it's loving kindness or compassion or something more technical. Like if you did like the actual Satipatthana Sutra mindfulness thing, it is long. It is a lot of steps. I mean, it takes a long time to do. You know, it's interesting though. It's super fascinating. But yeah, we don't really differentiate too much. It's just meditation. It's all designed to free yourself from suffering, to bring peace. And so that's kind of what I was thinking about a little bit. So I'm always interested to understand what your experience of meditation is. Something that you thought was easy or difficult or surprising, or just your experience of meditation. Anybody want to? Yes, Jennifer. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to comment on what you said regarding we tend to overcomplicate things
Mm-hmm.
all the time, and that just makes me really realize, like, wow, the task in front of me, it's so simple, but I'm like making it way harder in my head,
Yeah.
you know. So it just helps me declutter my head and
Mm-hmm.
recognize that it's really simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I heard the term concretize, which is a great term, to make solid. I heard that from like Pema Chodron, right? And I really like it a lot just because I can like to make something concrete or solid. Concrete is very solid. It's a very solid thing, and understanding how that causes just suffering. So much suffering. Like my way is the only way. We see so much of that in American religion. And it reminds me of this a Buddhist concept of becoming or reifying yourself. And making yourself this false sense of self really, really solid. Every time we fall for, our partner, or if somebody gets us angry, or whatever it might be, every time we want more, or get carried away with our wants and desires, and for things that just don't make a difference, we kind of reify and concretize this false sense of self. We just kind of add to our suffering when we do that. And I think about that a lot. Like I think about that I'm getting really concretized and really solid, and knowing that, oh yeah, this doesn't feel very good, does it? And so there's just little things like that, easily rememberable things like that kind of really help me a great deal. It helps me love myself more, care for myself more. And something that I'm just like eternally grateful for. I like this practice just because I just learned so much more about myself all the time. Yeah. Yes.
One question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the Metta Sutra,
Uh-huh.
and I recognized a couple quotes.
Mhm.
I'm somewhat familiar with it. A friend of mine who's like a Zen Buddhist teacher gave it to me.
Mhm.
But I don't know any it's just the Metta Sutra. I don't know any of the where it comes from. It sounds like it's kind of the same poem prayer.
Mhm. It is. Yeah. Want me to read it now?
Sure. Yeah. And I'm just curious about where it comes from, because I've known it for several years, but I don't really know the origins of it, or where it fits within, I guess, traditional Buddhism.
So, as you know, it's a great question, by the way. First of all, the Buddhist teachings, after the Buddha died, the Buddhist teachings for the next 500 years, it was an oral tradition, right? Nothing was written down. It wouldn't make sense to write it down anyway. No one could read, right? But after a while, about 500 years, around the 1st century CE, they wrote everything down on palm leaves, and they were kind of discovered. And so these teachings have been handed down for 2,500 years. And so the Metta Sutra comes from the Pali Canon. The Pali Canon is kind of what the Theravada tradition generally will use for their Dharma, right? The Pali Canon. And so this is from the Samyutta Nikaya 1-1.8. That's where the Metta Sutta comes from. And so this was part of what was kind of written down on palm leaves, years ago. It says, "This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud or demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing, in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short, or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none, through anger or ill will, wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. And I took, and I'll get to the online question here in just a second. And, like during the meditation, I took a couple of those little snippets and I kind of threw them in there just because I've read this so many times, and so that's kind of what kind of clicked for you, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, Rosalund says, I'm having great difficulty with intrusive thoughts as of late. In your experience, what is the most effective way to keep the mind from wandering? Well, we have so many different methods of doing that. There is labeling. So when a thought arises, you just label it. You say, thinking. That's all you say is thinking, with no, judgment or evaluation. You're not judging the content of the thought or examining it in any way. You just say thinking and come back to the breath. So that's one way to do it. You can also think about how these thoughts just cause you suffering. Right? These thoughts just cause suffering and you don't want to suffer. You can think about how these thoughts are just inconstant. They're inconstant, they're impermanent, they do their thing for a little while and they'll go away, i.e. they're not solid. There's nothing really concrete about these thoughts that you can add to concretize yourself, to reify this kind of false sense of self. So those are just a couple of different things that you can do. Just focus on their impermanence, focus on that these thoughts are not self. There's no solid self to attach these thoughts to. Because with the Buddha had these thoughts all the time. He just took this strategy of not self. And so the thoughts arose, but there was nothing to attach to. So they all dissipated. So that's why he never suffered. And the most interesting thing is when you have these intrusive thoughts and they just won't go away. I mean, you've tried everything. You've tried all these things I just said, and there's probably some other things as well. He said, like the other thing, the last resort thing you can do is just close your eyes and gnash your teeth and clench your fist and force it out. Just force it out of your mind. Use the sledgehammer approach, right? That's a last resort thing. But I like that he said that. I like that he used that as an option, right? And so those are just some of the ways that you can do that. Yeah, not to add resistance to the thoughts as someone hear that, of course. That's absolutely true. Oh, hi there. Anything else before we go? Yes.
I'm just gonna add the thinking, saying thinking, that really helps me.
Yeah, the labeling. Yeah, that's really, really a good one. All right, let's have a couple of announcements. Travis.
Yes. So, hello everyone. I am tonight's host, Travis. We opened the Dharma Temple 16 years ago to introduce Buddhist practice to those who show up. Those who lead are not nuns, monks, gurus, masters, or teachers, and are not looking for students. They're simply practitioners sharing their interpretation of the practice with others. Almost every night, we have different classes led by different people from various Buddhist traditions. We have a recovery sangha that meets several times a week for anyone battling addiction, and our food distribution program is every Thursday at 5 p.m. We have classes and programs every day, and everything we offer here is always free. The full schedule is on our website and posted in the entryway above the shoe rack. We also have a lending library. If you see a book you like, feel free to borrow it and bring it back whenever you're done with it. Please straighten out your seat or cushion before you head out. Thank you for being here. We wish you well and hope to see you all again.
Awesome, guys. And so fine, let's just join our palms together at our hearts, please. And may the benefits of this meditation, this discussion be received by all beings in all directions. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be joyful and at ease. May all beings be happy. May all beings be loved and seen for the beautiful, radiant beings that they are, that you are. Thank you for coming. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and rest of your week. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, online folks.